You know, every now and then a political poll comes along that doesn't just measure public opinion. It sends a massive shockwave through the whole system. And that's exactly what's just happened in New South Wales. A recent poll dropped a result so unexpected, it's got everyone scrambling to figure out what it means. Let's break it down.
30%. Just let that number hang there for a second. Now, this isn't some complicated secondary preference figure or a simple approval rating. No, this is the primary vote, the first choice for voters in Australia's most populous state, according to a recent Roy Morgan poll. And who got that 30%? Well, that's what makes this so astonishing.
So, let's dive into the numbers and see exactly why this poll is being called the political earthquake. Okay, this is where it gets really wild. Look at this hierarchy. One Nation is pulling a primary vote of 30%. That's not just a strong showing, that actually puts them ahead of the governing Labour Party, who are sitting on 25%, and it puts them way ahead of the Coalition, who've dropped all the way down to just 19%. For a so-called minor party to be leading both of the major players like this is, well, it's almost unheard of. But to really get your head around the scale of this, you can't just look at this poll by itself. You've got to put it side by side with the last state election. And when you do that, the contrast is, well, it's staggering. This table right here tells the whole story. In the 2023 election, just last year, One Nation barely made a dent. They got less than 2% of the vote. Now, this poll has them at 30%. That is a colossal 28-point swing. So where did all those votes come from? Well, you can see the major parties are just bleeding support. Labor's down 12 points, and the Coalition has pretty much collapsed, shedding 16 points. A political shift this massive, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum, right? So the million-dollar question is, why? Why is this happening? According to the commentators in our source material, it's not any one thing. It's more like a perfect storm of frustration. And it's really important to stress this. What we're about to go through is the analysis from the source. The argument these commentators are making is that this isn't so much a vote for something as it is a vote against a whole bunch of frustrations that have just been boiling over. The analysis suggests that a huge part of the electorate, including a lot of traditional blue-collar labor voters, is driving this change. Commentators are pointing to this really potent mix of grievances: frustration over mass migration, worries about street violence, real anger over the return of ISIS brides, and just dismay at the scenes from recent demonstrations. But the feeling that seems to tie it all together is a powerful one. The public has simply had enough. So if you look at it through that lens, this poll isn't just a set of numbers anymore. It's a direct, it's powerful, and it's a very loud message being sent from a huge chunk of voters straight to the political establishment. The analysis in the source goes even further. It actually tries to capture the raw emotion behind this protest vote. It boils it all down to a single, pretty defiant statement that they believe represents the mindset of these voters. And this is the quote they use to sum it all up. "Call me racist, call me whatever, I don't care, our country is at risk here." The idea here, according to the source, is that these voters are moving to One Nation not in spite of being called names, but because their core concerns have become so big that they now outweigh any fear of being judged for their choice.
And all of this leads us to the final, really crucial question. Now, of course, a single poll is just a snapshot in time. It could absolutely be an outlier. But if it's captured a real shift in how people are feeling, what does that signal about what voters actually care about today? And maybe even more importantly, what does it mean for the future of loyalty to Australia's traditional major parties?